What's up, everybody? I can't hear myself in the microphones, but I trust and have faith that you can hear me because we are a really on-the-fly, in-the-moment podcast. Welcome to History Hyenas with Freddy Feta Cheese, Peanut Head Pappas, and we got the king of throwing hands back again. Everyone's favorite honorary Bay Ridge boy, even though he's from the LES. Give it up for Sergio Chicone. Welcome back, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
And we also got Emoji Face here, and of course we got Scrabble Fingers, Isis. And Emoji Face just ran out and he's taking business calls right before we do the cast. What's going on?
It was just studio-related stuff.
Oh, okay. We thought you doing big deals. You walked away like, hey, I got a Hollywood meeting I got to do real quick. You guys can start. You guys can start without me because this podcast I'm going to be leaving in a couple seconds anyway.
But we have someone coming in at 3:15.
Yeah, I'm just making jokes, Emoji Face.
I know.
Emoji Face will be opening up for me in San Antonio this weekend.
Yes. If you're watching on Sunday, it's too late. But if you're watching on Thursday when this episode comes out, you have 2 days.
You have 2 days to get your tickets to Chris Distefano's favorite club, Laugh Out Loud.
Have you been there before?
No, but he said it in the podcast. He was like, I'm never going back there.
Yo, it's dirtbag hot over there.
What do you mean?
It's dirtbag hot. You're going in the end of July?
Yeah.
Texas is hot right now.
It's going to be hot right now. Like, it's a different sort of heat. It's like 125.
No, it's not that hot. It feels like that in your balls, though.
It does.
Yeah,
It does.
well, it's 90.
You know what? I went in August last time around, and that shit was like 120.
It's like 98 right now. My balls feel like they're in Texas right now.
Yeah. It's 95 degrees right there.
You know,
right now.
I've never been to Texas. Do people walk around with cowboy hats and like...
Yeah, you'll get some of that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have like? Do people walk around with just open carry AR-15s? Because I'm interested to see that.
It's hard to find, but you can. It's some places there's someone doing that.
Are there guys with guns on their belts, just on the outside of their jeans?
Some places.
Is somebody gonna call me partner when I order a coffee? Can I get a coffee? And they're like, sure you can, partner.
Not if you go to Starbucks.
Am I gonna see anybody chase Indians?
Yes, but not the feather kind, the other kind.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've never been to Texas, so all I know is Texas stereotypes.
Yo, mad stereotypes. Heavy with the stereotypes. Dirtbag.
I know. Yo, am I going to see some Mexicans in sombreros?
You'll definitely see some fucking hot Latinas.
Some fucking hot Latinos. Oh, God, I was in San Antonio, Charles. Let me fucking tell you. The fucking Mexican Latinos down there. So fucking hot. Oh, mucho caliente.
I saw some dirtbag shit in San Antonio. I went there 3 times over with Chris, but San Antonio was definitely dirtbag. A waitress who I thought was just bloated, you know, maybe drinks Hennessy with no ice every other night, whatever. I'm not judging her figure. She was pregnant.
Wow.
Smoking the stove.
Yeah.
Busting me down. I was like, man, I have a cigarette. And she'll be like that. I'll bust you down, puppy. I'm like, yeah. And you know what? Because I'm an anxious dude, I took that bust down. I didn't hesitate. Shit was wet and cold in the lip.
But that's not unique to San Antonio, is it? You can find that in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Yeah, I just haven't seen it in a long time.
I ever tell you the story about when a friend of mine's cousin punched a stripper?
I think I would remember that story. I don't think so.
Yeah. So Springfield, Massachusetts.
Springfield's dirtbag too.
Dirtbag.
Yo, it's actually very similar to San Antonio in the feel.
Really?
The club itself too, because we played at the MGM. High ass ceilings, very like.
Oh no.
Doesn't feel intimate.
You guys are getting me very excited to go to San
Nah,
Antonio.
you're gonna have fun.
Oh my God.
I liked it better than Springfield.
What's the hotel like? Is it just a Holiday Inn or something?
What the fuck was the
I think I'm gonna
hotel?
have a full-fledged panic attack. I don't want to go now.
No, you're gonna be fine.
No, I'll be
I found the audience to be mad cool, but then again, I was only doing 15 minutes. You gotta do a whole hour. That's 2 episodes of Seinfeld. That's a long time.
Yo, is it really that dirtbag, Mike?
San Antonio?
Yeah. No. Yeah, the club.
No, I mean, there's worse clubs out there. They put you up nice,
Yeah.
at the very least.
But the area's a little hood. Is that what's up?
No, it's not really that hood.
No, but
It's just a little grit. You could get some grit.
it's off the highway. That's why.
Yeah.
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 So it's not like out here. You're not gonna see people doing heroin or anything.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. It's So anyway, this is what happened. I was telling when you walked out, you taking another business calls. I know you're telling us it's Nora Cupcakes, but I feel like you got a big deal on the table right now. Anyway,
Cupcakes are a big deal.
yeah. Chris is not here because he's in Nantucket. I think he's doing show. I don't know what he's doing out there, but he's definitely drinking and posting stories. So
And he's bent out there because his stories are mad shaky.
shaking his face is beet
Yo,
red.
And he's red on one side.
Yeah.
Like he was laying on the beach like a seal. Just like he's burnt on one side.
Yeah, and he sent me a photo of him without his socks or shoes off. So, we're really screwed in kids right now. I may post that on the Patreon. What a week on patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys. We are giving you the goods. How many good behind-the-scenes things did you get this week? So many compliments. People were saying how much they loved it. That's where the goods are. Patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys. So we're going back to like 2003-4 right now. One of my good friends from college is from Springfield, Massachusetts. Springfield, it's called the City of Homes. A lot of wraparound porches. I think that's where Smith & Wesson's from. That's not what the episode's about. But
Wait, Smith & Wesson, the gun.
Yeah, the gun company.
I'm so New York. I'm like, Smith & Wesson, the rap group.
Yo, that's where Blue Moon's from. That's where
Blue Moon.
Blue Moon.
Yo, first of all, that was the most ghetto Puerto Rican shit I could say. Yeah. And saying Blue Moon is the whitest shit you can say.
I know. What were they called? Black Moon.
Black Moon was, Smith & Wesson was an extension of Black Moon rap group. BK, Best Style, Nostrand Ave, that shit.
I was a fan of Black Moon. I was a fan of Smith & Wesson. But that just shows you how much older I am right now. They called them Blue Moon. Because that means I just been drinking Blue Moons, wearing
watching soccer and tennis.
Yeah, watching soccer and tennis. I'm living in a real white world right now. Yes, I'm gonna. Do you want to meet for margaritas later? Yo, how much do white girls love half-priced margaritas at Mexican restaurants after work?
And guac.
Yeah, can I get some guac over here? And let's
so
get
good.
some margaritas. Thank you.
So good.
Thank you. Thank you. So anyway, Springfield.
So good.
So fucking good.
No, don't say fucking. This is so good.
So good. So good.
So good.
You train so many girls who like fucking going to Mexican restaurants after work. They're like, okay, what are we doing today, Stace? Let's go meet. I just ditched work. Let's just ditch work tomorrow and go to Bryant Park. And then let's just tell Sergio we're sick because we don't want to. But it's going to cost you however expensive Serge is.
And then I see them on an Instagram story, ditch boxing for Taco Tuesdays.
Yeah. Do you still get paid if they cancel?
Hell yeah. But that's
your time right there.
That's my time. But I'm not going to be hardcore if it's like a regular. But the thing is prepping yourself for things like that. So if I have a new person I'm working with, I let them know that if you cancel less than 24 hours, I get to charge you.
Yeah.
So it's like letting them know ahead of time because you just surprise them out of nowhere and they decide to fucking go out on Taco Tuesdays. Yeah. And then you're like, I got to charge you for that. Oh, I wasn't aware. I was really sick.
You're like, we talked about this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
And I do not text. It's all in front of us.
Yeah. And they don't care anyway. They're just like, whatever.
No, it's just, communication. Make sure that's strong.
Now, Venetia, would you charge Venetia?
Venetia, Venetia does classes. She doesn't do
she didn't do one-on-one.
But Venetia is my homegirl. I like Venetia. I like her energy. When I'm working with a class, there'll be like 15 to 20 people there on a good afternoon class. And I'll be bombing on stage trying to be funny.
You try to do a little comedy.
I just because I get bored saying the same shit. Because in boxing, keep your hands up.
Right.
Pivot on the right foot, elbows in. And I'll just be saying, yo, no elbows popping out with those chicken wings, right? No chicken wing dances. And Venetia's the only one like giggling. The other girls are like,
yeah.
What's he talking about?
Venetia, she's mad dope.
She's dope, man. She got dope energy, and that's,
She's in Greece for 14 years, so, yeah.
When did she come back?
Who knows? She's like, whatever. She just took a fucking vacation for 4 years.
She's still doing all this work for us.
She is. She's the best. Mad dope. Word. She's listening to this fucking on Patreon right now. So what's up, Venetia? Word dope.
I think I offended Yannis the second time we...
You offend me just because you know me almost 10 years, probably 10 years, you still call me Yannis.
Yanni.
No, it's fine. It's the other way.
But you say it's fine, but then you correct me each and every
I know.
time.
It's fine.
It's very passive-aggressive.
That's the way.
Don't point with that finger.
Yo,
when you point with that finger, I can't take you seriously.
I'm pointing with this one.
Yo, the little salamander finger.
It's not sticky at the end,
Yeah,
though.
but I like it. I like it because it's your special thing. The way you call me is Yannis.
No, but I remix it. I call you Yanni. I call you Yanni, depending on how I feel.
Yeah,
I really don't care. Yo, but the second time I met Yanni.
Yeah.
It was at you were doing like a Chris Polanco show. Remember that? Like a St. Mark's.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I was like, I might have been, I felt like I was hungover, like in a cloud or something. And I was like trying to strike up a conversation with you. It was like our second time meeting. I was like, oh, I didn't know you were Greece. Like, I didn't know you were Greek.
I didn't know you were Greece. Did you say I didn't know it was Greece or Greek?
Greek.
Yeah,
I never
Greek,
knew about that. And you were like, it was like 3 minutes before you go up on stage. And I was like, there's a lot of political turmoil over there.
Oh, I remember that.
And you looked at me like, what's this guy talking about?
Yo, I remember
Like,
that.
I probably saw something on CNN in passing and decided to throw it out there 2 minutes before you
didn't we joke about that
we did.
at the spot? Yeah.
might have.
Yeah, because that was like, how funny is that? That would be like if you met Mike Emoji and you were like, oh, you're Mexican? And then you were like, yeah, I heard.
That wall.
Yeah, I heard that there's a lot of problems in Acapulco.
Or maybe Puerto Rican.
Acapulco's not the vacation destination it used to be in the 80s because of the drug. It was like a weird, it was funny. It was almost like you got excited because you heard I was Greek and you were like, I heard something about the country of Greece. There's a lot of political turmoil.
Yeah, and I definitely want to use the word turmoil. Like, I learned that word maybe a few years back, but I rarely use this as I'm throwing that turmoil joint around.
Yeah, the way you phrase it, there's a lot of political turmoil over there.
Yo, he had a Yankee hat to the back, mad wrinkly on top.
Yo, I'm a dirtbag with the way I wear my hats, right?
Yeah, you looked at me like this. You were like, I don't even think you responded. You just walked to the curtain and did your show.
Yeah, it's me when you see a backwards Yankee hat and glasses on and a gut and what
camouflage
else?
shorts and some dope ass kicks.
And that's what it is. Yeah,
that's what it is, Pop.
So, Springfield, Massachusetts. I was there. We were actually playing in like a summer basketball tournament, like a weekend basketball tournament. It was like 3 games or something, 3-on-3. I can't even remember, maybe 5-on-5. Me and a couple of my friends from college. So we went out to a strip club. They got 2 strip clubs out there. One's called Mardi Gras in Springfield, Massachusetts. That's like the fancy one, right? But it's still so for Springfield, it's like that's like it would be like a F-level strip club in New York. It would be like a strip club deep in Corona, Queens.
Oh God,
is like the best strip club they got in Springfield. And we went to that one, and this was back when I was in my 20s. You just go to a strip club in your 20s, even though like it's
and you never really enjoy it.
Never really. After the first time, you don't really enjoy it. It's kind of like cocaine in that way.
You should know, Serge.
The first time is nice, and then you just chasing that first high, but it never really gets it because your life starts falling apart. So, then there's this other spot. I don't even remember what it's called, but it was like a really dingy strip club.
It's like danger is looming.
It looked like a
every corner of that fucking crud hole.
It was like a dive bar where the girls dance on the bar.
Yeah, I've been. Ugh.
We walked in, it's completely empty, right? It was so empty that when we got in there, like the stripper was like sitting down, talking, like having a smoke break because like it was slow, and she got up like, I guess I gotta go to work.
almost like annoyed with you.
Yeah.
That's
like,
funny.
I thought I was just gonna have the night off. She like put her fucking Newport out in like a plastic ashtray, and then just got up and like started stretching her knees a little bit. Put on her heels and just kind of sauntered over and just climbed up on the bar, like all awkwardly climbing up on a bar. It was one of those places. She had stretch marks everywhere. No lie, no exaggeration. She was like obviously like a mom. It's a little sad, she's stripping. Yeah. So we sit down. I don't know why we went in, but we just continued to went in. We ordered like a couple Heinekens, and we just sit down. As me, my friend, my friend's friend, and my friend's cousin, right? So we sit down at the bar. They're playing some music. It's completely empty. There's like 2 bouncers, a bartender. We order our Heinekens, and the stripper comes over and just starts dancing in front of us on the bar. She's just dancing in front of us, and we're just sitting there.
Just doing her job.
Yeah, and nobody was into it because she was like, it's broken down. It's sad. It's not. She doesn't want to be there. She's bitter. It's a slow night. She's not making any money, and she's got stretch marks all over her body. I mean, it looks like she has 18 kids. I mean, her body looks like a fucking like
she was attacked by a Wolverine or something.
Yeah, exactly. Good one. And it's exactly what she looked like. And then so she like the song ends, right? And then she like puts her hand out. And And we're all like, we didn't, I was like, I think I might have given. And then my friend's cousin was like, I didn't, he was like, we didn't ask you to come over here and start dancing.
With his hands like
yeah,
that?
he's like, nah. He's like, I didn't want you to come over. I didn't ask you to come over, and And
I
then,
didn't want you to come over.
Yeah, so then she kicked.
If you listen, I didn't want you to come over.
I didn't ask for that. He's like, you can't. He was basically saying like you can't demand tips.
Right.
Right. So she kicks a beer. There's a beer. It was my beer. Here's beer. Someone's beer. I can't remember. In a cup. And because that was the type of bar it was, they poured it in a cup so you couldn't have have a bottle.
A fucking weapon.
Yeah, I mean, Springfield, Massachusetts is on some DBS.
Big time.
Dirtbag shit. It is fucking, talk about house, it's block to block. You're on one block, like, oh, this is nice, kind of look at these homes. Then you turn the block, you're in an episode of The Wire. So she kicks, in her high heels, she kicks a beer on him. And before, like, he stood up, reacted, he just stood up. He was a short dude, too, real short. And he stood up, and he just, like, Superman punched her. And she fell backwards with her titties out into a trash can. I swear to you, into it was like a trash can filled with beers and ice. She fell dead into that with her titties jingling. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, God.
And then we just start mobilizing and like, fuck. And then like bouncers are coming and we're just like fucking standing off and they're just like pushing us out the door, but we're in a standoff until we're out.
You got away with that shit?
We got away with it, yeah.
Oh, because you're white.
No.
This happens on the daily with her.
No, all my friends were black. I was the only white one there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was three. It was my friend who's black, his cousin who's black, and his friend was black. So it was 3 black guys and me.
Damn.
Yeah, and we walked, and it was like, yeah, they just kind of shoved out. I think it was kind of like a square off thing because she kicked the drink, he punched her. Plus, like, it wasn't like these weren't like tuned up bouncers. This was like fucking, whoever can you just watch? Some guy was like, I'll watch your door for you. He's like sitting there. The guy's got like half a throat, you know what I mean? It wasn't
like her uncle.
Yeah. If that happened at Mardi Gras, we would have got fucked up because that was probably like the fucking city of Springfield's toughest guys were probably working security at Mardi Gras because that's like the A club, even though it's it's a Corona Queens club for New York.
Oh,
but they got a couple neon signs. So you're like, if you got like a neon sign or something, it's like that's the number one strip club in a town wherever's got the neon.
Right.
If you go into a thing and it has just like a regular bar fucking insignia, it's called like whatever, like our house or X house. Yeah, you're gonna see some fucking stretch marks on that night.
Oh God,
Droopies or something.
Yeah, so it's a wild thing. How do we even get onto that?
Oh,
because Sergio was telling me, yeah. So Sergio was telling me about some story with a stripper. But anyway, this is what I want to say. You know what I figured out?
Well, don't put that shit on me. Why you putting that? Yeah, this is the reason why we're talking about some dirtbag shit.
No, didn't you?
I don't know. I'm just fucking around. I don't know how we got into
How did we get on that?
I think Serge punches people, so it just naturally.
He punches drug dealers. If he's strung out on that pussy. Yo, Serge is a different person when he's skiing. Yo, when Serge goes to when Serge decides to go to Aspen for the weekend, he's a different person.
Yo, every time Yannis see me high at one of his shows, he would like that. He'll just look at me with his Yankee hat to the back and be like, yo,
disappointed.
Who like that?
Yeah. I'll start moving my dry.
Who like that? You on that, yo? And I'm like, nah.
Nah.
And I wouldn't be around, right? I'll just be zigzagging.
Yeah.
He'd be like that, yo, you mad squirrely. Yeah. He called me a squirrel one time.
Yeah, it's funny.
And it happened like, out of all the time, maybe
15,
like
16 times.
15, 20 times.
So this is what I was thinking. Remember last week we were trying to figure out like what would be. First of all, fans love you. Have you seen the fucking feedback?
Oh man, I love ya.
Yo, it's been crazy. They've been blowing up. Patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys. We are fucking screwed in. You see how many times me and Chris plug that shit?
Yep.
Like we make it a thing to just plug it. Patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys. If you haven't joined the matriarchy, what are you doing? But if you go to the community board, it is lit up with fucking praise of how much people love Sergio. So Sergio is our number one guest and also our fill-in. But he'll also be here when we're both here. You know what I mean? It depends if we feel like dealing with him.
He's loud. And he spits when he talks.
Yeah. And so.
I spit when I talk. That's one thing you ever realize something about yourself that you've been doing for years, but recently?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I realized. I've been doing that for years. Like, everyone tells me, yo, you spit when you, like.
I never
and
noticed
different
it.
occasions, people have told me that. I'm like, oh, now I can collectively put that together. I spit when I talk.
You know
So,
what?
Mike, beware.
I do too. I spit when I
know?
talk too.
I've never been spit by you.
I
definitely spit Chris giving instructions when he's boxing. He's like that. And he's taller than me too, so I'm getting up there. I'm gaining some height.
Yeah. So this is what I was thinking about. We were talking about last week about if you recommend the podcast to a friend, don't start with
Pearl Harbor.
Don't start with the Pearl Harbor episode. This is our recommendation. Did we say this on the podcast or no?
Mm-hmm.
So we told them to start with Battle of Crete. We did all that?
We did.
I thought we were doing that off air.
Well, let's remind them if we did.
Yeah, if we didn't do it, because we don't remember, because we're fucking all over the place.
Yeah.
Start with like something like Battle of Crete. If you want to recommend the podcast to your friends, pick out a few. You guys are connoisseurs. You probably remember more of the episodes than we do. Start with like Battle of Crete or something history heavy.
Yeah.
A little.
The Dan Soder episode's a good one for
Dan
that.
Soder's a good one. That's a good one. Dan Soder is that was about the Great Plains Indians.
Yep,
and
Colorado.
Dan Soder. Or Ari's a good one too.
Yes.
Gaffigan's another good one.
Yep.
That was recent, right, Gaff?
Recent, yeah. You can go with Battle of Crete's a good one. Start with a lighter one and let them find their way up to Pearl Harbor, because Pearl Harbor.
You dirtbag that episode?
I mean, Chris went fucking wild on Pearl Harbor. It's all jokes. Everyone gets it, but he went wild. Yeah. It was one of those episodes where we actually said on the episode like we were going to cackle in a bunch of places, and we just didn't. Because usually when we go too wild, we just cackle over. We throw some hyena cackles over.
That would have been 30 minutes of cackles.
I mean, we just went wild. It was a fun episode. And there's still, it's one of those, something happens like that, and it just it lingers for a little while. Like, that's the type of episode where like it's like still lingering a little bit. Like you still see
like you
comments.
woke up the next day thinking about it, like fuck.
Yeah, it's like hooking. Yeah,
It's almost like that stripper story. Like the following day, you're thinking about it like this, like in your mirror, like
exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
And your boys are coming up to you. You were wild yesterday at that strip
Exactly.
club.
That's exactly what it's like. It's like a wild night where you're
Yeah,
on that
you're-
blizzy.
You're a little hungover from that episode.
Yeah, a little hungover from the episode, and people like still talking about it a couple weeks after. Like, there's still people commenting about how wild that is. It's like from 3 episodes ago. What we done? Like 2 episodes in between there.
Yep.
So it was wild, but it was definitely hilarious. But so this week we're switching gears a little bit. We're switching gears. We're gonna cover not a sneak attack by the Japanese Imperial whatever Air Force. We're going to Medgar Evers, and I love it. It's appropriate that on the big screen we got the Wikipedia page up, because you know what? Me and Chris are at our heart. We're just a couple of Wikipedia sluts. That's what we do. We fucking Wikipedia, and then we talk to you about historical stuff that we have Googled or Wikipedia'd. Yo, Wikipedia can be so wrong. It's just people who do Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
What's the type of person who contributes to a Wikipedia page?
Anyone with the internet.
I know. So but what kind of what motivates a person like that to be like, I wanna contribute to the Alamo Wikipedia page?
Oh, the same people who would raise their hand too fast in school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that you or no? Were you a good student? No.
I was not a good
You're
student.
not good, but you're a smart kid.
I graduated high school in 3 years and then didn't go to college.
Yeah, let's just we're not. This is not an honor society in this room right now.
But I was ambitious in school. My first couple of years, I would raise my hand like that. I would do the extra wrist,
Yeah.
you know, like that. Maybe even get up on the desk.
Yeah.
You know, when it came to like spelling, I enjoyed spelling.
Because you know what it is about you, Serge? Deep down, you're kind of like a nerdy good kid. But
I'm a good kid.
Yeah, but then you started hanging around the block. You had to put on a tough exterior.
My do-rag, I had to get a do-rag.
You had to get a do-rag. But deep down, you're that kid who's waving the hand. Anyone who gets into the arts, we talked about everyone who gets into the arts, like
Smart dude.
smart dude or
Smart
also
young lady.
creative or sensitive kid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when you see your boys run away, they're like, yo, you still doing those plays? Yo, Serge, man, yo, you doing that plays? You doing that gay shit? Yo, how that you doing your one man? You doing your skits and whatnot? I'll come
Yeah.
through to see your skits.
Yeah, I'll support.
Yeah.
That's the
still bang your
worst, right?
soul
When
on
they
the
say
table?
I support.
Yeah, I'll support your
12
skits.
years deep talking about your support.
Your support. Because right now, this is not for. I'm looking around. This is not an honor society right here. This is 4 fucking kids who got C pluses, who gave a C plus. Their parents were like, "You did good." Everyone knows about ISIS's spelling on the fucking Patreon. If you've ever seen me try to work out a tip at a restaurant, I got to pull out an app to do it. I have no idea. It's embarrassing.
It's funny that you say that. Yeah, my parents would be happy with a C plus. My mother used to do my homework. Anyone? My mother do their homework.
My mother used to write my papers.
Yeah. Well, she won't go that hard with the. Actually, she may have written a paper, but definitely I remember doing the whole early morning, 8 o'clock. You didn't do this shit, and I'm like that, standing behind her with toothpaste on my lip like this, and mad gel on my hair. I had hair back in the day, just come to the side.
Yeah, I love looking at those old pictures of you with hair and like baggy jeans on and boots, and like there's always a snake wrapped around you. How come every picture from the '90s has a reptile on your body?
I know, man.
You love animals.
Yeah, I do. I don't fuck with hyenas though. I don't own a hyena.
You don't like hyenas?
I do like them, but
we haven't talked about Trash Monkey the hyena in a long time. Do you even know that his name is Trash Monkey the hyena?
Yeah.
So you've been around since it was Trash Monkey.
He used to be out there more.
Yeah, now look at him now. He's just draped on we used to prop him up. We used to put him in frame. Now he's just draped over. He's fucking falling down. Looks like he just got eaten by lions. Hyenas are fascinating animals, Serge.
But an exotic animal, you know what I'm saying? Like I never thought, like, you know, and I've always thought that was like a monkey, but hyenas, they are not to be fucked with.
Yeah, no, you can't have a hyena in your house.
Yo, there was a dude who owned one of them. There was like a documentary about it, and he like chewed to his plumbing.
Here?
Not in New York, but in the U.S.
Yeah.
And like it chewed to his plumbing, to the kennel. It like laughed all night. It would pee. Like it was like it would destroy everything.
Yeah.
And he had it for a year.
Yeah.
And they finally gave it up, and now he like visits at some sort of sanctuary or something.
You know what's interesting? Like you can see when you watch like these animal guys, you could just see how much brain is the most important part in nature, because you ever see how like we could basically domesticate any animal. Not domesticate them. No, that's not the wrong word. We can't domesticate them, but we can make them docile. Like pretty much.
Sort of. Yeah.
Like, yeah, you ever see like there's this kid, what's his name? Max something. There's a few of these kids that just like fucking put their heads in hyenas' mouths because they've known the hyenas since they were babies. They do it with panthers. They do it with pumas. They do it with lions. They do it with all these predators because they were raised in captivity.
Just broke them down.
So they don't know. They get their food fed to them. They have those instincts in the back of the mind, but these people are experts and they know how to sort of avoid. You know, I bet you they never fucking play with the hyena like that if the hyena hasn't eaten in 4 hours.
No, you can't
I bet you
fuck
whenever
around with
you see those videos of someone fucking around with a hyena, putting its head in a hyena's mouth or doing that, it's like 3 minutes after they just fed a hyena.
Yeah, this is probably the smart way to do it.
Yeah, that's the smart way to do it. You do that. Are you ever scared your snake's gonna choke you out?
Yo, the other day I took out my boa.
If your boa decided to,
No, they're not big enough.
but if he couldn't hurt you, your boa.
Nah, man,
It couldn't choke you out.
they're not big enough.
Could choke your cat out.
Probably.
That cat lives in fear. I feel so bad for that cat.
They stimulate each other.
Yeah,
Chill.
that cat.
Slow down.
That cat has anxiety. First of all, it was born in the Bronx, where a girl just said, some woman was disciplining them.
So the cat breeder, they're Persians. She was like, they're naughty, so you got to whoop them.
Yeah.
And we were like, what?
Yeah.
Whoop them.
I brought it up because it was the last episode. You said it. That's true. But yo, so you don't fear that you're gonna get choked out by the cat?
No, but the snakes are fine. They're not gonna choke out the cat.
You can't throw hands at a snake, though.
You know what you do? So this is
I bet you Chrissy D would try. If a snake tried to get on him, Chrissy D would.
So if a snake bites you, you just put some hand sanitizer, some alcohol on its head, and it releases.
Really?
Yeah. So if you're ever in a situation, you're going to Texas, you find yourself in a reptile hall, and there's a snake wrangler, and he's like, hey, you want to touch my python? You want to touch my snake?
There's a lot of amateur snake handlers out there.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just hire around some hand sanitizer. They'll back off.
Why is that?
I don't know. There's the alcohol or something, the scent of it. But yeah, I saw a video on that recently. Yeah. But back in the '90s, we didn't have hand sanitizers. I don't know what you do.
That's good to
when I
know.
started collecting.
So most people won't be in a situation where there's a snake that bites them. But if you are at one of Sergio's dinner parties and one of his snakes goes rogue, just have hand sanitizer in your pocket. Anyway, today we're talking about fucking Medgar Evers, civil rights icon. A lot of people breeze over Medgar Evers. The reason why Medgar Evers is one of my favorites because I went to school in Washington, D.C., and he was a veteran who was murdered and basically a martyr for the civil rights movement in the 50s and 60s. But he was buried with full military honors in Arlington Cemetery, which is one of my favorite places to visit, one of the best tourist attractions in the country. So many famous people buried there, and Medgar Evers is there. So it's wild.
And he wasn't even drafted. He volunteered to go, which is like, that says something, you know? Like, he volunteered for World War II?
Yeah, had to be World War II at that point. Yeah, was it World War II? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, World War II. And he volunteered, like, you know?
Yeah, he fought in the Battle of Normandy.
Yeah, and it wasn't like World War II. That wasn't like a time where like black soldiers were welcome, right?
No, it wasn't the best time to be black at all.
No. This was probably this is like the end of the second worst time to be black.
Yeah.
Would you say it like that? The worst time to be black in America was from like 16 whatever.
Yeah.
To
slavery.
War,
basically.
1865. That was the first. That's the worst time it is to be African American.
Yeah.
And then the second phase was 1865 till about, Chris Rock had that funny joke. He goes, till about 1956, 7 or
right.
Depending on when your town decided to start acting right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it always blows my fucking mind when you look back at this and you're like, damn, this was not that long ago.
Well, that's the thing that I was just about to say. It gives me goosebumps thinking of that wasn't that long ago.
No.
Not that fucking long ago. This shit was going on.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it before, but it bears repeating, like even slavery, 1865, right? So what is it now? We're 2019. This is how bad I am at math. So how long ago was 1865?
134 years?
134 years.
Wait, no, I'm not doing my math right.
Yeah, no, we're all, I mean, this 4 dumb kids. That's what this episode could be
You
called.
saw, I didn't give anyone eye contact. I was like this.
154 years.
You did it quick?
I used the calculator.
154. So divide that by 2. What's 154 divided by 2? 154 divided
77.
Yo, so slavery was 2 77-year-old men living back to back. That's how long ago. How fucking wild is that?
Yeah. It's not that long ago.
Yo, how wild is that? So that's like, let's just give that a personal scenario. So it's like some dude's born in 1865. He lives 77 years. So he lives till what? If he was 1865, I'm making us do a lot of math.
I looked away again.
Yeah. People who are listening right now going, yo, we don't tune in for the math equations.
It's 1942.
1942. So some kid's born in 1865. He was born when slavery ended, right there. Or let's say he was born in 61, whatever. So he's born in fucking 1940 or 42 or whatever. He's 2 years old. And then another dude is alive today. A guy's alive today is 77 years old. With modern technology and medical advances, that's not that old.
No, it's not.
77 years old. So there's a 77-year-old man walking around today who had a parent who lived to at least 77 who was fucking born during or right when slavery ended. Right. How fucking wild is that?
It is wild.
It is not that long ago. I think it was like Louis C.K. had a funny joke about that. He's like white people always make it longer. He's like, that was like 600 years ago. It's like, come on. True. Yeah, it's like, that was 800 years ago. They should have figured it out by now. It's like, dude, it is.
I remember that bit.
I mean, so many of, I think, the psychological things and it's so recent, man. It's such a recent thing. So, in a lot of ways, a lot of these people were operating at a time. I mean, Medgar Evers was born in 1925 in Decatur, Mississippi.
And Mississippi's still dirtbag.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you're black and born in Mississippi, racism starts immediately.
Word.
Like, I think you become aware of it. Like, I think if you're born in New York, you're like, was that just a weird, did she just cross the street? Like, you're like 12 years old and you're like, did they just, is that? But when you're in Mississippi, as soon as you're born, somebody goes, get out of here. Like, you pick it up pretty quick in Mississippi. I mean, that's just what's going on in Mississippi is racism. So he was born in 1925. I mean.
And died in 1955, right? So he was young. He was only 38 years old.
37. He died at 30. Yeah, we're doing a lot of math today.
Yeah.
37. You
But that's young, man.
that's real young, yeah.
To get popped.
It's younger than me and you, and yeah, it's younger than the three of us. And ISIS, what will ISIS be when he's 37? He's either going to be the most famous rapper from Queens,
We're still here tackling certain things.
or you could be, you could be a part of this podcast. Either going to be huge, or let's be honest, the streets might take you.
Yeah.
The streets don't really take rappers anymore, right?
What? Yeah, hell yeah, they do.
But not the way they use. Oh yeah, they just took what's his name, Nipsey.
Triple X.
Yo, but if the streets
Yeah.
are till
Sensacion.
if the
Which I'm
streets,
starting to again.
yeah, if the streets are taking you now, you might be like, you might
Yo,
be.
ISIS, you may want to choose a different career path, man. The lifespan of a rapper is like that of a Great Dane. Is only 6 years.
Yo, why are the streets still taking rappers? But the streets will never take Drake because Drake doesn't. Drake's right. He doesn't really. He hangs out in the T-Dot. So what I'm saying is, you can be a rapper now without the street shit, right? You can kind of be a rapper without the street
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely. There's not that real hardcore street element as it was back in the 90s,
Yeah.
I think. I think you could definitely have like a more alternative lifestyle. And it's like, I'm a rapper, though.
You can
know,
get
they
away
be
with it.
Very fashion heavy,
Yeah.
But
Like
I feel like they're doing like a lot of drugs.
maybe that's
like
what
different
it is.
drugs. I don't know. That
No, I think
sounds
you're right.
old
No, I think you're
to me.
right.
But I feel like that it's getting fucked up.
I think
Like I
you're
feel
right.
like back in the days, motherfuckers probably sniffing and shit, but a little more behind the scenes. These guys are like sipping and popping pills.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't be surprised if they're shooting heroin. Some of these cats.
Yeah.
They're like, these guys are getting fucked up.
Yeah, it's a real rock.
It's
and
very
roll.
rock and rollish.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Like Kanye West is like, everyone loves Kanye. People buy his album and shit. But Kanye West, the streets are never going to take Kanye West. You know what I mean? He's like a mainstream billionaire.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a different game. But anyway, back to Medgar Evers. So Medgar Evers was born in Mississippi. As Serge said, he was a veteran, volunteered, which is wild.
that's wild.
That's wild. Can we look at it? I want to know more about that because I don't know more about that. Like, why did he do that? Did he ever say why he did that? Like, why would you volunteer? He fought in the Battle of Normandy, too, in 1944. That was a big bull.
Yo, that's a hard battle. And the treats are high behind them.
No.
It's like straight battle. Like, what are you
Yes.
hiding? Yo, what are you hiding behind in a beach war? Like, like you're going, like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
You think
that's-
about that. Yeah, I want a rock or a tree.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's like this. Like,
You're just shooting at each other in open fields. That's how mostly war used to be done. They just shoot each other in an open field. Like, you look at the Civil War, like, they just...
so what do you just go, oh, you clench it. It seems like, oh.
Yeah, you just walk towards each other. Like, and that's what white guys like to do. They go, yeah, it's a fucking rush, man. I'm just walking straight for you, dude.
Fuck.
Fuck, man, if we win this battle, we're definitely gonna get some fucking hot Latinos. Oh, God, I can't fucking take these hot Latinos. Mucho caliente.
Oh, fuck.
So, yeah, he went and fought in the Battle of Normandy, was honorably discharged, and came back to Mississippi, got married, and this is a fascinating thing to me. This is one of the fascinating parts of the story. Check this out. So Medgar Evers is a civil rights leader, right? So let me just give you the quick synopsis. Medgar Evers, buried in Arlington Cemetery. He was murdered. We're going to get into that. He was murdered by a white supremacist. We're talking about the fucking 1950s, right after Brown versus Board of Education, the famous Supreme Court case that made it illegal for segregation to continue. From the end of slavery till the 1950s, it wasn't a clean break. That's the thing a lot of people don't understand, too. It wasn't a clean break. Just like we learned, I don't know if we did an episode on this. We might have, when World War II was over, I mean, it's different, but it's similar in anatomy. Similar in anatomy is like after World War II was over, if you were a German citizen living in, you got fucked, like they got murdered.
Right.
There was just revenge. The point is like things don't just end. Like World War II's over and everything's just like everyone's like, okay, it's done now. Like shit still goes on. There was still people murdering people and things still happening. So, just in that, I'm drawing the similarities that like it continued. Like slavery, segregation was just another form of like keeping people slaves. You know what I mean? It's like third class citizenship.
Right.
You know?
They couldn't vote. You're like, I mean, this is a motherfucker who served for his country,
Right.
and he's unable to vote.
Right.
Yeah, the Jim
Like, it's
Crow
crazy.
laws.
Like,
Right. Jim Crow. This is Jim Crow, the Jim Crow South. The Jim Crow laws. It was, it's separate but equal, but it's not.
Yeah.
There was just, these were fucking states taking matters into their own hands. And we'll do episodes on all this shit specifically, but you get it. That's the setting. The setting is segregation America, segregation South. The Jim Crow years. So this fucking hero is born, Medgar Evers, and he decides, you know what? He's like, when you're like the first guy or you're like that first wave, like the amount of bravery that shit takes.
he had his whole family trained. He had like 3 or 4 kids to like know how to, if they hear shots, how to drop down to the floor and crawl to the bathroom. Like they were all, it was part of living with, that was his part of his lifestyle. His wife, his kids knew if they heard something weird outside to drop to the floor, crawl to the kitchen, because they threw a Molotov cocktail at him at his home, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, this guy was always living in danger because he was at the forefront of like this activism. You know?
And
I mean, it wasn't like this a one-shot deal.
Right.
This guy was being threatened for years,
right.
for the rights of his people.
Right, and it was, in the wake of Brown v. the Board of Education, there was a lot of these honks, these fucking cracker honks were upset. They were upset about it, so they started forming this. What was it called? The White Something Council, and that's what his assassin was part of.
Yeah.
What was it called again? Some White Castle shit.
Yeah, some
It's
White
called White
Castle.
Castle.
Yeah, they
I
formed.
mean, this is a branch off of the KKK.
Yeah.
So it's
The
Yeah.
White Citizens Council.
The White Citizens Council was founded, and he was a member of it. The kid who we'll get to in a second, who ended up assassinating Medgar Evers. But yeah, like Sergio said, man, imagine that. Imagine living your life. People who grew up during like the Cold War and stuff, they used to say, "Hey, get under your desk." But that's like everybody getting under the desk over this like vague threat of possible nuclear war. Imagine living in an environment you're surrounded by hostility and it's personal. You're like, "Hey, if you hear something, that means somebody's trying to attack Daddy."
Right.
Fucking this.
I mean, it was so detailed. I heard his wife speak at an interview, and she said even they used to always get out on the driveway of on the passenger seat because the driver's seat would lead into like an alleyway, and they said someone could snipe you there. So they had like a whole system of how they conducted their everyday living. Like it's to the point how they got out their car.
It's brutal.
That's crazy. It's brutal. But I mean,
and this is somebody who served his country, came back honorably discharged as a sergeant, and then he comes back, and some fucking cracker kid who probably didn't go to the war and didn't serve his country is telling him, you can't walk around here confident. You're second class citizen, and shit, I'm a superior being, even though I got 3 teeth and work in a gas station.
So they're constantly living in fear, just like Sergio's cat.
That's exactly right, man. So I'm trying to figure out, because this was a very interesting part. Here it is. So let's take it back. So Medgar Evers serves in the war, comes back, gets married to one of his classmates. They have 3 kids, and they move to Mound, Bayou, Mississippi. I never heard of this place before, but this is fucking wild. This is a town developed by African Americans. It's basically the FUBU of towns in Mississippi. For by African Americans. Mound Bayou, Mississippi is a town strictly that was developed by African Americans.
By former slaves.
By former slaves in, what was it, 1887. By former slaves led by a guy named Isaiah Montgomery. And so to this day, I believe the town is like 98% black still.
Yeah.
Its
population is dwindling, and now it's only got 1,533 citizens.
Yeah, but I mean, how big was it to begin with? I mean, we're not talking about New York City, a lot of 14.
No, but in 2000, it had 2,102. So.
So it's lost about 1,000, which isn't that much. But when your town is 2,000, that's half. Where are they going?
A SeaWorld? I don't know.
I mean, why would you leave paradise? I mean, who wants to live in fucking Mississippi? You have to be born there and be brainwashed to not know. Like, in order for me not to leave Mississippi, you're going to have me living without a phone, without TV, and without ever talking That's the only way. If I'm the only way I'm not leaving Mississippi is if I'm born blind, deaf, and dumb, and you got me chained into a basement. I'm fucking. Who is staying in Mississippi? We should just like Mississippi. Probably
Shout out to our patrons in Mississippi.
Yeah, there's probably some people right now going, "Fuck you, man! Mississippi's a great place." I'm like, yeah, it's got a lot of great buzz on the street. Your state's a shithole. I'm sorry. Until you start fucking figuring shit out, I don't know who goes to Mississippi.
I don't know.
I've never heard of.
They got some good colleges there, apparently.
Biloxi's nice, right?
I guess.
They got some hot girls in the South.
Yeah.
I'm being mean on Mississippi, but look, it's the same thing with Pearl Harbor.
I
You
mean,
know what you did. Here's the thing. People would like to get offended when you say stuff. It's like, but here's the thing. You know what you did. You can't be mad at me and saying something, okay? You guys did slavery. You did slavery, so you know what you did.
They did slavery hard.
You did slavery hard. You did some dirtbag shit. You're on some fucking dirtbag shit. A lot of places down there are still fucking racist. You know what you did.
Yeah, and it's almost like we're recovering from reading these stories. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm recovering, like, damn, man, how do I look at this place from, like, knowing all the dirtbag shit they pull?
Yeah, like it's the same thing with...
그것은 바로 그것이다.
There we go. Thank you.
But when you go to these places, it's certain areas you got to avoid. Basically, there's really good people.
Yeah, it's
there.
called the state of Mississippi.
I'm not saying live there, but when you pass through,
Who the fuck's passing through Mississippi?
people got to drive to Florida.
Yeah.
So it's
You do not have to go through Mississippi to go to Florida from New York.
not from New York.
No,
but from
you go
Texas.
straight through the Carolinas. Get your gun ready through South Carolina and Georgia, and then get to Florida. Keep your gun ready till you get to Miami, and then it's whippa.
The main thing, people there are just there's not a lot of wealth there. It's a lot of just poor people,
Yeah,
and that's where a lot of the hate ends up coming from.
that's true. Yeah, that's a segment on our show we like to call social worker emoji face. You gotta understand where people are coming from. They're poor, so you can't blame them.
What's interesting about Evers is that I didn't know much about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think a lot of people, I still don't. Like, I'm just like, it's relatively new to me. And, like, it's crazy because, like, everyone knows about Malcolm X. Everyone knows about Martin Luther King. But he ain't doing the same numbers. You know? He ain't doing those same numbers. And he should. Because he was, like at the forefront, man. I mean, he was, like, the ultimate sacrifice, just like, Dr. King and Malcolm X. But, man, like, you don't hear about him often.
Well, he does have a college named after him.
That's good.
Right? Where is this college? Medgar Evers. Where is that? He's got a college named after him. And so what happened was, just to finish his story, set the scene, 1954, fucking Brown v. Board of Education. So segregation is now illegal. Federal law, you can't do that. But the states are still trying to keep their freaking laws going, right? Yeah. So Medgar Evers, in an attempt to protest, much like Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King probably looked at him as like a role model because like Martin Luther King did the same things, would
Absolutely.
protest these, would break the law or directly go into proverbial gunfighters, so to speak, to protest. Right. To show the rest of the world. Now, this is what I studied in school. I loved it. American Studies and History was my major. It was like the thing I learned about Martin Luther King was he was a PR genius. You know what I mean? That was the difference between him. He was always thinking about how things appeared. He used TV. He was one of the he was a civil rights activist who was aware of like how things appeared on TV. So he knew it was horrible, obviously, to get hosed and all these things, but he wanted it. It was happening anyway. So he wanted it to be on TV because he wanted to appeal to the silent, what he called the silent moderate majority, the silent majority who's like not in favor of that but doesn't say anything. Right. But he wanted to, because what he's basically saying is, and what most people know, here's the deal. Most people are just normal people. Yeah. But there's these points in histories where these extreme groups they spread because normal people don't want to get involved in crazy shit. Most people are just people on the subway who, when someone starts acting going crazy, is like, if I just stay silent, he won't come to me, I'll get off. I don't want to fucking ruin my day. But if everyone keeps doing that, then, that shit spreads.
Right, exactly. Right. It's so funny. When you say that, it brings me back to the story I just saw. I saw, like, these ladies, a bull died. That's wrong, right? It was a bull died.
This is just a real New York City moment.
It was a bull died. It was a bull dyke.
Well, it sounds like a dog breed.
Yeah.
I got a bull dyke and a Rottweiler.
Yeah, and like the strung out crackhead, and they're like
Hold on a
fighting.
second. I mean, is the Wei-Shan Jean button don't work, or Chrissy's not here? You feel like you're on vacation. I get it. Don't get me wrong. ISIS is probably thinking, you know what? I got a nice little vacation because Chrissy's not here. But make no mistake, fucking Sergio just went in.
So it was a bull dyke.
Yeah, there's a couple of bull dykes and a couple of FFs walking around.
Wei Zhongzhan.
And a crackhead fighting over a Metro car swipe.
Crackhead is not the proper way to call
It was a
them.
crackhead, and they were fighting.
It's the person struggling with addiction, right, Mike? Right, social worker, Mikey?
They were fighting. They were sword fighting with umbrella handles. They were whacking each other on the New York City train platform, and there was just people buying their Metro card, not even looking at this shit going on. And that's the way most people are. And most people don't want to get involved, you know, but there's a responsibility. We all need to get involved in some way or another, because not then.
Well, don't get involved unless you know how to throw hands.
Yeah, or an umbrella.
I wouldn't get involved in that shit.
I mean, Mike Emoji. I don't
take you physically.
Yeah. I think you, ISIS, Chrissy, and even me to a certain extent, even though I'm probably going to break some, but Emoji Face don't get involved. Because he's going to be breathing heavy quick.
Yeah.
He's going to try in like the first second, he's going to be like, you know, I'm out of breath, I need my asthma inhaler. Are you a kid who has an asthma inhaler or no?
I don't carry one.
No.
Yeah.
You need one, but you just need that shit.
Not up here. In Texas, I needed to because my allergies were way worse. Here, they don't bother me as much.
Yeah.
So.
You're looking good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Do you, are you working out?
I'm walking more.
Yeah, that's an old man's exercise. That's what I do every day. Is I walk a lot.
Yeah, I worked out with Yanni, and he just does bicep curls with his Yankee hat to the back. And he goes, "Look at my tricep." I was like, "You just working on your biceps? Why are you showing me your tricep?"
I'm a DBS.
Yeah, your workouts are deep.
So what he did, Medgar Evers, is he applied to University of Mississippi Law School. And his application was rejected because of his race. Can you imagine living at this time? That that was just on the it's fucking wild. Sometimes
now, do they just say that blatantly?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
This is
not gonna happen.
Dude,
but did they do all the paperwork and then reject you?
That's funny. Yeah.
How do they do that?
Yeah. How exactly?
Because there gotta be some sort of bullshit. You know what's crazy? Like after his death, they said a lot of people, moderate, but mostly like street people got involved. Yeah. Like in the protest. Yeah. Like he resonated with them. Like he was, you know, but they weren't really fucking with him before that. Yeah. But after his death, it was like, how dare you? That was a good dude right there. Now it's time for us to step it up.
Yeah, unfortunately, he became a martyr and inspired a lot of people.
Yeah.
So he's sort of like the most important impetus for what became the heart of the civil rights movement in the 60s. I mean, Medgar Evers was the kind of the giant that set this into motion by doing what he did. And like I said, proverbially throwing himself into the fire, into the bullet fire for a bigger cause, which is what he did.
His college is in Brooklyn.
It's in Brooklyn, Medgar
Evers.
Wow. So yeah, man, he that's interesting to say though. Did he just submit his application? They're just right there. They were like, are you serious? You know how we get down here, or is this a joke? What y'all trying to do here?
Yeah, like I want to know. Even though I'm sure it's DB, but it's probably not as blatant as we think it is. It's probably like they probably fuck with you a little bit, like, whoa, you got to go through these steps, boy, and, you got to give it some time, like, we gave you your freedom, now it's time, well, how do they word that?
They probably call like, hey, yeah, we got your application. Is this the Medgar Evers household? Yeah, we here at the University of Mississippi, we got your application. There's just one problem here. Y'all are black, so...
Hopefully they use that word.
Yeah, I mean, they probably didn't use that word. But yeah, that's a good question. How did they do it? Did they do the whole black and then make an excuse? Like,
because with that sort of like race, it's like conditioned. They just start to believe you're not worthy of this shit. That's what happens. Like it's like systematic and it's done over and over that people feel like, oh, I don't belong there. That's what happens with this decade, like this time and time again being oppressed. Like you start to believe this shit. You feel 100%. Like I'm not supposed to be here. You know, and like he was like, nah,
It's 100% conditioning.
It's conditioning.
And it's hard for us to believe because it's foreign to us because we grew up in such a diverse place. And it's like such a liberal place, overwhelmingly liberal, New York City. So it's like, and diverse. You can't avoid seeing other people. But imagine being from a place, even if I'm talking white, black, or Asian, or South Asian. Imagine being from a place where all you see, the circumference of what you see is just one thing. Oh. You're going to be small-minded.
Yeah,
no matter,
sure.
It's not just a white thing. It's like you're going to be small-minded. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just what it is. Yeah. Like, it could be a kinder place. Like, let's say I went to some fucking small village in, like, I don't know, Cambodia or some shit. I could go to, like, a kinder place where they're a little kinder, but still small-minded. They're looking at me like, what the fuck is this? Right? Or I could go to a meaner place where they start treating me bad because I'm different, you know? I remember when my friend Todd, who was from Springfield, Massachusetts, we went to
the one that punched the stripper!
The one whose cousin punched the stripper. And if Chris was here, he'd say, we didn't give a gift at your wedding. But that one, yeah. It doesn't matter. But he... So Chris, right?
Yeah.
Wedding.
So me and Todd, you know, he was my friend from college. We were roommates, you know, one of my best friends in college. We went and visited my other friend, Marco, who was also at the wedding, my groomsman, tall guy, in Montenegro, his home country. And in Montenegro is, you know, former Yugoslavia, there's no black people. They don't see, and this was 1999, so it was like no internet, like no phone. I mean, the internet was there, but it was just starting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like the only other black person they knew was Michael Jordan. So they would just point at him and go, Jordan, Michael Jordan. So it was wild. They were being kind of friendly about it, but you know some people said some fucked up shit behind his back.
Yeah.
It's just a small-minded place no matter which way you slice it. Yeah. And I'm sure it's the opposite. You go to some tiny place in Africa, it's only black
Mexico,
people.
that same thing's going to happen, yeah.
Yeah, same shit, right? It's just, this is a small-minded place. But, so yeah, it's conditioning. Like up here, it's like, you know, even if you're from the most racist neighborhood, and, you know, we're Ladder 14. Okay, maybe let's say you're from Ridgewood, Queens in the 1930s before Hitler. Okay? Or, you know, what's another racist area? Bensonhurst. All right? If you're from
Bensonhurst, Howard Beach.
Yeah, I mean, Bensonhurst, there should just be a sign when you get to Howard Beach or Bensonhurst that just says, get the fuck out of my neighborhood. You know, so it's like, even if you're from one of those neighborhoods, if you live in New York City, you are going to see. You're going to at least be exposed almost every day, or if not close to that, other people. Whereas these other places, it's not even possible. You talking about tonight? Imagine that. Imagine being from a place like that. So yeah, that it dictates your thinking. I almost don't blame them in a way. I'm almost trying to understand, like, how do you become an open-minded person if you live in a fucking place like that?
Yeah, but not even. I mean, these people were evil. Like, to want to hurt people.
I know.
It's one thing to be open, but these people just fucking. It's just evil.
I know, but people are evil, you know?
Yeah, people are dirtbags.
People are dirtbags.
Yo, you know what, man? Everyone gets on my nerves. I'm in the city. It's not that great over here. Every fucking background, every person, different size, they all get on my fucking nerves.
Everybody gets on fucking nerves.
That's why I like snakes. They don't talk.
That's why I said, like, look, hate, there's nothing wrong with hate. Hate is a good emotion. I hate when people say just love everyone. That has no meaning. To just say, you can't just love everybody, because if you love everybody, that defines the word love out of existence. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's got to be the option to hate, and like love, you shouldn't just love everybody. Love is something you give to someone who deserves it after a long amount of time. You don't just love someone instantly. It's always meaningless and unrealistic and a little utopian to me. Just got to love more. It's like, no, it's okay to hate. You just got to be more specific with your hate. You can't just hate group. What kind of fucking lazy, stupid person hates people or things he doesn't even know anything about? You gotta. Hate is great if it's specific.
Hate is great.
Yo, hate is great if it's specific, right?
No, I agree. I don't like indirect racism. Like I feel like that's worse than direct racism.
Exactly. And it's like, how can you hate someone or something general like their race? You know what I mean? Or like, it's like let's say there's a culture and there's an idea in a culture. Then hate that idea. Don't just go, oh, I hate Muslims. Yeah. Just be like, hey, there's this one idea in the, I do hate ISIS. So that's one person, right? But I hate him individually. Exactly. But it's like, I hate this, get specific. Get detailed. It's like, I hate this one thing that says this law in this fucking, but then you can also say, hey, I like this. Another part of the religion says, hey, just be cool to people. I'm down with that. Specificity is the key to being human. If you want to be an evolved human, you got to get specific.
Damn right.
That's
Be
what it is.
specific with your hate.
And you can hate and like things. Like, it's not all categorical. You can't go like, hey, I like all of this. I hate all of that. It's like, get specific. Wow, we got more guests and more sweets just walk into the room. Anyway, so we're going to change gears. Let's just finish up Medgar Evers, and then we got some surprise guests who just walked into the studio, and we're already at an hour, so let's wrap it up. So he gets murdered. Right, Serge?
Yes, sir.
Eventually, so he tries to apply to the university, Medgar Evers. Then he ends up becoming named the NAACP's first field secretary for Mississippi. Now, if you're the first field secretary for Mississippi, you're living a dangerous life in 1954. So he helped organize boycotts. He set up a new chapter of the NAACP, and he organized protests against segregation of city beaches, et cetera, et cetera. He did civil work shit. And it was all basically under the umbrella of boycotting this local effort to stop integration, which was in motion from a federal level, which is why you need strong federal leadership. But I also see why local anyway, that's a whole nother thing. So he gets killed. He gets killed by this fucking dude. And the interesting thing about this kid, what was his name again? Beckwith.
Byron Della Beckwith.
Byron Della Beckwith.
I mean, we could talk about this guy for half an hour. Do you want to do another episode on him?
Yeah, we could do another episode. We could do another episode of him. The
But basically, he doesn't get convicted till 30 years later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got off twice.
Yeah. It's fucked up. Medgar Evers was also doing important work, like investigating, as everyone knows, the lynching of the Chicago teenager Emmett Till in Mississippi. And so this is all the good work that Medgar Evers was doing. And, he was constantly threatened. He was almost run down by a car in Jackson, Mississippi. So, as we were saying, his whole family knew the deal and everyone was scared. And then finally, this fucking asshole looks like a guy who would kill him too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine this is what you do with your life. Imagine me and this dude. Just so fucking
And he actually got caught because he was bragging about it in jail. 1994. That's not long ago. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Edgar's was regularly followed by the FBI. I mean, this was back in the day when the FBI was trying to derail Martin Luther King and the movement. There's some disturbing shit that came up about Martin Luther King though recently. And I don't know if it's true. I'm just saying I heard the rumors. It's wild. We got to look into that.
He was white.
No, but did you read about that?
No, I didn't read it.
Did you hear about that? It was there's some recording supposedly of somebody who raped a girl and he was laughing about it. They were talking about it. I don't know if it's true.